For this video, I'd like to talk about strange things that happen at sea. This was back in 1962. Several boys decided to go out and see a United States ship. It was wrecked on a sandbar. This was an above-water wreck. So it was quite interesting for the people in the area to take a raft out there. It was about 2 miles from the coast. The group of boys decided it was just a perfect day. Great day for skin diving. It was not a cloud in that sky. The water was calm. They got in their raft and they headed toward the wreck, taking turns paddling. Yet unfortunately, as luck would have it, the weather decided it was going to change. Wind picked up. White caps formed. The sky started to get gray, ominous looking. There was a breeze picking up a little faster. So, taking a look at their environment, the boys decided it's time to turn around and head back to shore. Unfortunately, most of them would never make it. A strange thing out on the ocean. 1 minute it can be just quiet, peaceful, gentle swells. And then that tide. The tides turned. With a storm coming, the tides started to carry the raft out into the open ocean. The boys frantically tried to stop what was happening because they were going out into the deep ocean. 2 boys jumped out, tried to push the raft back while the other 2 rowed, but nothing would work. The tide was too strong. Then a glimpse of hope. Another vessel passing, not real close, but close enough to try to get their attention. No such luck. The vessel didn't see them, kept on going. The boys out there found a buoy. They thought perhaps they could get next to this buoy, fasten it, and they'd be safe. No such luck. The waves are so powerful it just smashed everything. Picked that raft up like a toy. The boys had to leap from that raft, but they were going to be smashed into the buoy. After treading water for a while, things calmed down just a little bit. They managed to get back into the raft. They got rid of most of the water, and they were stuck out there a long way from shore. It didn't look like it was a real good chance of getting back anytime soon. And of course, things got worse. It got darker and things began to rain. They came upon the wreck, except the current took them way past the wreck. Took them past the wreck and out to sea. The wind, the rain, and the waves finally subsided later on. And to make things just right, a fog rolled in. They're out in the deep ocean, in a fog, in the darkness. It was finally very quiet, very still. The only good thing is the water was rather warm, but visibility, well, they were down to about 25 feet. And one of the boys hollered that he thought he heard a boat or something. They listened. The air became unusually filled with the odor of dead fish. It's very strange. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this air smells of dead fish. And they heard a rather large splash, maybe 50, 60 feet away. Now, the wave from that splash was enough to break over the side of the raft. So whatever made that splash was rather large. Then there was a second splash. And then, finally, through the fog, they were finally able to see what looked like a neck sticking up out of the water. This neck was sticking up out of the water. It was maybe 12 to 15 feet out of that water. Then this neck of some kind bent in half and dove under the water. Then there was silence. An unnerving silence. And there was rather high-pitched whine that came out from the fog. At this point, the boys definitely were scared. They decided they were going to put on their fins and dive into the water. The surface was covered with crusty slime, some kind. Their thought was they were going to swim towards this wreck. This wreck was on a sandbar. It was above the water. If they could just get to that wreck, they might be okay. Now they swam, but as they swam, they could hear a splashing and hissing. Behind them, fog was clearing, yet it started to rain again. The waves were starting to pick up again. And one of the boys who was near the back of the group, something got him. He screamed in agony for about 30 seconds, begging for help, and then finally his voice went silent. The other boys yelled back for him, but there was no response. 2 of the boys were swimming rather close, maybe 10, 15 yards apart, and 2 of the boys finally looked over and they noticed that the 3rd boy was no longer with them. It was a flash of lightning and they could see the ship. They swam fast as they could toward that ship. And as they were on their way, this thing surfaced next to one of the boys. The 2 small eyes. It opened its mouth and fell down upon the boy, dragging him down beneath the surface. In the end, somehow one of the boys made it to shore, although he doesn't exactly remember how. He just remembers waking up in a naval base hospital. The search and rescue team listened closely. When the boy was finished, they informed him that he was the only survivor. None of the other boys are found. The surviving boy, of course, had an extreme amount of emotional trouble. He had survived. His friends had died a horrible death. No one knows exactly what happened. but it was real, it was horrifying, and it left one poor survivor who would never forget that horrible night. No one knows what happened, but it was something strange and ominous from the sea. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Please subscribe. Please like. Share this with like-minded friends. Feel free to comment. Thank you. Take care.